And I play my sad Spanish guitar. It is so sad. It is the sadness, the sadness expressed through the guitar. So sad. Hello. Hello, hello. As you may be able to tell, I am still not entirely better yet. Voice still a little raspy. Welcome. Was it Vena, right? V-E-Y, Vey? Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing today? Gotta switch screens. Hello. Oh, my phone is off. Nice. I forgot to charge my phone. Just thought to mention that. Which means that this stream is heavily limited by the amount of time that my phone decides to be alive. I wasn't planning on going for very long anyways. I think... I may have extended my own suffering in the sickness by trying to act too soon before I was well. So I think my general raspiness is because I decided to speak before I was fully cured, is what I'm going to say. So, try not to push it. I know I, like, released a full schedule and stuff, but I'm gonna aim for 2 hours and then, like, stop myself. That's what we're trying to do. Hopefully that's okay. But, yeah, what's up? What's going on? What's happening? Because my last week was honestly kind of hell. I'm gonna be real. It was not good. It was brother. At least tomorrow's variable, which could just be nothing, I suppose. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was that I might just do nothing tomorrow. I was also maybe thinking of starting Outer Wilds, because my friend really likes that game. And, I've heard good things about it. Yeah. So. That seems like a cool experience. Outer Wilds is amazing. Yeah. I also mentioned it to Doc, and Doc was like, oh yeah, you should totally play that game, and you should, let me know so I can actually moderate your chat, so no one spoils anything. Because it is a game that I believe is impossible to play if you have spoilers, so I do not... That would be unfortunate. But yeah. Yeah, so... I mean, yeah, my week has been interesting. I'm gonna be a little bit more transparent and say that, I think I was already even talking about this before, but now it's, like, a little more solidified. Where, might have even been on the Blasphemous stream that I talked about this, but it's like, okay, hello, we need programming to be done. And then it's like, okay, lead programmer person, please set up the character controller so that we can at least have a prototype of the mechanics, which I have described in great detail, being the mechanics designer. The 2-week deliverable hit, and it was not done. It also kind of looked like it wasn't even close to done. So, I was like, alright, hold my beer. And then I whipped up a prototype in 2 hours. And it's pretty good. If I have to say so myself, I think it's not bad. It shows the main mechanic of the video game. So that's good. And then I ran into a scuffle with that individual because I was trying to complete more features for the prototype. And they were like, they basically like interjected at my workstation and started trying to do stuff on it, and I was like, bro, like, I didn't ask for your help, what are you doing? And then they kind of looked at me like, what do you mean? Like, they gave me like the weird look, the like, I don't really know how else to explain it, but it was like the weird look. And I was like, yeah, I didn't ask for your help. Do you want something? Like, what do you want? So then they kind of fucked off. There was a little bit more to that story of more conflict, but basically it was like, my dude, I assigned you this task that I clearly demonstrated could have been finished in 2 hours with mild degrees of competency, and you were unable to do it in 2 weeks. So, now I have to be the lead programmer. Which I am not confident in. You're making a game that's really neat. Yeah, you know, tactician school requires you to do a large amount of things. Sometimes you make games. Sometimes you're on a year-long project to make a game in tactician school. Completely unrelated, but you know. Okay. What did Poi say? 1, 2, 1.5 and my one loss being super close. Heartbreaker due to the flood right at the end. Got a Blood Moon and anime Necropotence. Oh, nice. Congrats. Glad that in my course, it's never happened that people just don't do the things they're tasked with on projects. Makes it so group contracts and such are understood to be just a formality. I guess the way that I saw it was like, we have a certain amount of time to make this game. So, I don't have time for you to fuck around and not do anything, because you are going to literally shit on the entire schedule of development. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't have time for that. So, if you're gonna waste my time, then that's not acceptable, basically. Particularly because when I was invited to this team, I was under the interpretation that I was doing, like, I would only be doing design work, because I think people value my design opinions, and stuff. Design and documentation. But it turns out we just don't have a programmer, so... Woo! Great! Okay. You've been making games for a while, know it's hard work. Oh, cool. What have you worked on? If you don't mind me asking, or is it just like, you know, random, smaller hobby projects? I'm just curious. Have you considered just remaking Blasphemous and streaming that? I could never. I feel like making the character controller wouldn't be too bad, but like, this game is like 90%, like 90% just Pogger's artwork, you know? Release 6 smaller web games, and you're working on a huge RPG now, over a year in. Huge RPG as in like a tabletop RPG, a turn-based RPG, MMORPG, action RPG. Is it like digital or physical was, I think, the main distinction. I was curious about. Hella digital? Okay. Team of 3. Okay, is it like turn-based? Or like what's the project? Unless you're not allowed to say anything, in which case like you probably shouldn't do that. Turn-based on a grid. So it's kind of like it's like Fire Emblem? You can say everything? Okay, cool. We're not even a company? Oh, okay. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, so it's like a Fire Emblem, like, tactical strategy? Is that the correct genre? Project leader, artist, and designer. I see. Cool. Oop. Did I hear RPG? Yes, you did. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I think those games are very interesting. And, you know, Fire Emblem is nice, but also... I'm just thinking of the last Xenologue mission, and I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? I'm just like, wow. That's, Imagine Fire Emblem, but better. I mean... Yeah, yes, I mean, that's fair. Am I allowed to pick your brain on what, like, the design elements are? Like, I'm assuming you have, like, moving and attacking and stuff, but, like, what's the, like, big thing? What's the big ad? You're just eating dinner as well? Okay. Well, we can probably get started because we only have, like, 2 hours, but feel free to discuss. I honestly just kind of wanted to wander around a little bit because we got the second jump. We got the double jump, which means we can probably explore a lot of new things. So I kind of just wanted to, like, you know, track back through all of these areas, and I think there were a few things that are like, I think this is like double jump lock, this one is as well, so there's a bunch of them. Oh, Poi, now that I have the double jump, can I get the second tier of weapon upgrades? Can you tell me about that? For smaller scale ones, teams of like up to 4. Yeah, I feel like Fire Emblem does like a pretty good job of like, you know, I think 10 is like pretty good. You can get the second tier, I don't know where though. Is that like, I don't know where, as in you are like protecting me from spoilers, or you just like don't remember? Welcome, Cavalier. Hello. Welcome. How is it going? You don't remember small stuff like that? Small stuff? It's like a huge deal! Second tier of upgrades. Isn't that like a big deal? No? Okay. I will search for it and see if I can find it. You do not need to find it for me, Poi. I'll just like wander around. I'll wander around and I'm sure I'll find something. If I don't find it, we'll find something else. If it isn't a room I'll return to, I won't remember where it is. Okay. Sure. Oh, sorry, yeah, this is a Metroidvania. Blasphemous, this is Blasphemous 2. And Blasphemous is a Metroidvania. Following the tale of the Penitente. The Penitente. Ooh. Damn. I still don't know where that person is. The rosary, not person. Yeah, the art in this game is very good. Okay. I don't remember if there was a reason I put a question mark here or not. Oh, right. This is for the, this is because I thought there might have been something in the ceiling here. Nope. No, there's not. Okay. It looked like, this looked like something that you could jump into, maybe. Let's clear that. Thinking there just weren't any games like the one I wanted, so I decided to make one. That's fair. You know, I think there's the classic, you know, I want this thing and no one's making it, so I guess I have to do it myself. Said the person with the short stack VTuber model. Oh, I didn't sit at any things to get the... Okay, well, let's just go do that, I suppose. I wonder if there's any other paths I can take. It's a very nice model, thank you. You approve? Big approve? But you want it short? Yeah, I know. That's correct. It's just a term that people use to describe things. That doesn't necessarily mean I have to agree with it. But, you know. Some people just, like, that's the way they describe things, so, you know. Who am I to tell them that's not the, not what it is? I'm a tall stack. Tall and stacked, is that... What do we call that? I don't know. We call that mommy? Maybe. Maybe, I don't know, man. Thing I always recommend when making any new project is don't be afraid to look and learn from previous projects. Well, certainly. Was there a context for why that was mentioned? I don't know. I mean, certainly being able to look at previous projects is like a thing that's worth trying to do. But I think you can also end up in... You can end up in self-improvement hell. Okay. Blinded... You're kind of going blinded to turn-based stuff. Okay. I was just wondering if there was any, like... Oh, I still can't do this because it's still whatever the hell this thing is. Okay. Well, still can't do that one. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I was curious about was if you had, like, any idea of what, like, kind of like the novel mechanics of the game look like, or something like that. Like, if there was any... Yeah, boy, I'm sure I missed some breakable walls that I'm not gonna find until I'm prompted. But that's okay. We'll get to it eventually. I remember when trying to write my first fantasy story, I read a bunch of fantasy stories. Not so I can steal what they did, but since it was my first time to get a better understanding of the audience. How do I say this? I think that part of art is a chain of influence. So, like, you know, generally, whether you're cognizant of it or not, it is very likely that some of your decisions are based on things that have happened around you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that's just a thing. So being able to, like, look at something and then be like, hey, I think this is successful is just like a matter of good analysis. I guess I just don't really like the context that when that part of creativity is from, like, some obscure sense of novelness that, like, may or may not be real. I guess. Oh, I might be able to do this now. I still can't do this. Huh. Okay. So still can't do that one. Okay. So that's a novel thing. No levels either or consumable items. Tried pressing the button harder. I don't think that's it. Mostly saying it because I find those two pretty obvious, one of them massively so. Okay. Well, I guess I must have missed it. I suppose. Maybe there's one down here. I don't know. No consumables sounds like my type of game. Yeah, so I guess what I'm curious about is, like, so... This is a turn-based tactical strategy game, right? Where you, like, move people around and they do stuff. So, what is your method of, like, interacting with the puzzles or problems in the universe? Like, what do you do? As the player, like, what do you do? You have a party of 4 people, and you can move them around turn-based in a grid. Like, what do you do? Even, like, the concept of level is, like, kind of an obscure... potentially obscure thing. Alright, this is where the sister was. Can we get up here yet? I think it's blocked off by the thingy. Okay, party of 3 at once. Half the game is talking and story, while the other half is very flashy turn-based combat with a high degree of customization. Okay, sure. So, like, you're in the combat scenario, and my question is, like, what do you do? Like, what are the actions that the player can take in combat to, like, advance whatever the goal of combat is? Still not sure what these things are. There was something up here and something over here, so let's go check those. Ultra Kill doesn't have ammo, so players don't have to worry about efficiency and focus solely on playing stylishly. It's possible that there's more to it than that. So I have a question. Do you have to reload in Ultra Kill? I can directly state why Ultra Kill has no ammo because it's a developer statement. That's fair. I'm just curious, like, there's no reloading. Okay. How do I get over there? Yeah. that's not gonna work, unfortunately. But yeah, I think it's fair to, like, you know, like if the dev said a particular thing, that like there's more to think about than just like face value saying this is what the dev said, so it's right. It's like playing stylishly, like what does that mean necessarily, right? I think that another reason why you wouldn't have ammo or a reload is that, like, what reloading provides is like a break in the action, and it also provides like an opportunity of like vulnerability. So like if I'm playing like Call of Duty, even if I'm playing like the campaign, right, there's going to be a moment in the gameplay loop where I need to realize that I am vulnerable because I am reloading. And then I have like a couple of options. I can like switch to my sidearm, and then I can like switch to or I could like take cover and continue like reloading or something, or I could like press a grenade or whatever. Like there's multiple options to solving the weakness of needing to reload. So that's like, if that's like part of the gameplay, then like it should be there. But I get the sense that Ultra Kill, right, again, is this kind of like very fast-paced. I actually think I remember what this is. I can't go there yet. It's this very like fast-paced thing where like the focus of the game is like different than like having moments of reprieve to like reload your gun. Like that's not part of the problem statement that like Ultra Kill presents you when you play it, right? So it's like, let's think Dark Souls, for example, and then go like, part of the problem statement of Dark Souls is trying to figure out how to not die. And then like, there's a lot of ways you can do that. But like, if you don't think attempting to not die should be part of the Dark Souls problem statement, then you just like, don't elaborate on dodging or blocking or any of that. You just like put a big shield around the player or something so they can't take damage, and then like you kind of figure it out from there. So what I'm saying is that like I like or do not like reloading is a personal opinion. Whether or not the game should have reloading or not have reloading in it does not necessarily need to follow your personal opinion. Like, it's like, what does the game need in order to achieve something you are trying to get? Which is really cool, because if we walk it all the way back, you think about what the Ultra Kill dev was talking about, and they said, our focus for this game is to play stylishly. Therefore, we will reduce the cognitive load on the player to not have a reload part of the core game loop, and also that reloading will stop the fluidity of playing the game. Therefore, we will not include it. Right? Same thing with limited ammo. It's like, what is the purpose of a staff in Fire Emblem to have ammo? Right? Like, there's a whole rabbit hole you can go down about, like, whether your staves should have ammo or not have ammo, or like what that accomplishes by doing any of those things. Bonk. All right. Do I know how to get up there? Huh. I don't actually know if I do. You can go into that room if you didn't already? Okay. Well, let's see. Okay. Let's see if we can figure this one out. Oh, I have an idea, maybe. Except I have no mana. Nice. I don't know if that's what I was supposed to do. But we did it. The one on the left side of the screen? Oh, I don't know. Static Novice. Okay, I'm saying I don't like that style of game where you need to manage resources instead of focusing on the current fight. Right. So what my pushback I think will be, that's definitely not the intended solution. Amazing. What I'm gonna push back on that statement, and you know, it's not a matter of like, you're wrong, which is why look at how wrong you are. But like, the conception of the things that a player needs to do in a fight. So it's like managing resources instead of focusing on the fight. It's like, why are these like mutually exclusive? Right? So for example, I actually think that there's a lot of games that include a reload that probably don't need it. Right? So in that case, you could be like, the goal of the game is to like have a particular fighting style, and yeah, reloading doesn't seem to add to the experience at all, so like we can remove it, like an ultra kill. Right? But like, for example, the reload time in Armored Core is very fascinating to me. Because if you think of the cognitive load on a player, if they had to hold down 4 trigger buttons to shoot 4 guns all at the same time, all the time with 100% uptime, I would be like, you're crazy. I'm not playing Armored Core without cooldowns. Like I want cooldowns in Armored Core because there's too much other shit to think about that I don't want to have to fire my guns with 100% uptime. Like, I'm good. When my shoulder cannon goes on cooldown, I'm like, thank fucking God I don't have to think about that for the next 10 seconds, because I'm going to instead be thinking about dodging the boss pattern. Instead of holding down 4 buttons all at the same time. So, it depends on what effect you want, right? And whether or not that is actually valuable to the experience or not valuable to the experience, right? You just focus on what to do to beat the current mission, not caring about making the next easier or harder. Yes. I think that Fire Emblem that doesn't really have... I mean, I guess there's levels in it. But like Fire Emblem that doesn't care about making the next mission harder or easier with... I mean, I guess it has consumables, but like you're not really thinking about how many consumables there are because you have pseudo-infinite of them, is the Xenologue. Because in the Xenologue, you don't care about how many consumables you're using because you'll have a finite amount in the next chapter anyways. So I'm going to use every recovery staff I have because it doesn't affect my next mission. There's also no meta progression. And I'm going to go ahead and say some of the Xenologue missions are not very compelling game experiences. Just to be honest with you. I also see that I was supposed to come from the other side to get to this one. Okay, not saying you're wrong. I'm saying careful resource management is not for me, and there are definitely are others who agree, and if I find it fun, it's on the right path. I'm a little confused with that sentence. Careful resource management is not for me. That makes sense. That is fair. Interestingly, I also don't like careful resource management. There are other people who agree that careful resource management is not fun, which I agree with. If I find it fun, it's on the right path. I think that's the part of the sentence that I don't necessarily understand. I want the player to focus on one problem only, win by any means necessary. Sure. And I think you mentioned it earlier, you were like, hit it really hard, but I thought there were no attacks in this game. So I'm trying to figure out what you do. What do you do in this game? Okay, you hit it really hard, or throw it off a bridge, or poison it a bunch. Stun the ones you don't like, and block a particularly dangerous attack. Keep moving to not die to stupid positioning. Right. I like the game I made. Others will as well. Bell Xenologue feels very rushed and half-baked to me, hence why I played on easy to get the characters and new classes. Meta progression is a word I most hear referring to roguelites. Yeah, by meta progression I just mean like the overall strength of the stuff that you have access to, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so you have no basic attack, but you have skills that have use cases. So it's going to be a... So all of your characters are very, like, heavily use case oriented. And, like, you need to have a certain amount of synergy between those use cases in order to, like beat an encounter. Like, the expectation is going to be you have to use some degree of stunning or poisoning in order to, like, beat the encounter. So if, like, if a boss has, like, 600 HP, and you pick all abilities that do not seem to create a coherent strategy, then you will not be successful in beating a boss that has 600 HP. Yeah, I mean, good is relative to, like, what you set good to be. Right? Like, it is by the bounds and definitions of the game. Where am I going? Maybe over here? I don't remember what this was. Oh, that's a door. I remember that one. What's here? I guess we didn't super explore this place that much. Okay, can make many types of playstyles, just need to make it make sense. That's about it. Okay. Do you have a conception of, like, what the playstyles are? Like, at a macro scale? Like, how many are you thinking about? And how do they, like, overlap? You have a party of 3, so I'm assuming... Yeah. Can talk to the horse carriage again. Okay. Dunno. Okay. It's fair. Because, like, I'm gonna be more transparent about an opinion that I have, which is, like, a design process. And that, like, I am, again, blatantly saying that this is, like, some degree of opinion based on experience and teachings, but is, like, I think, arguably, a design lens that does not need to be followed all the time. Mostly because the concept of breadth of party building is technically a thing that is a fun thing to do in a game. That makes sense. OST in the town, but work to do. Please help. By the way, hello. Welcome, Caesar. I was going to say Caesar. Cesar, welcome. Thank you so much for the 8 months. I appreciate it. Okay. So my opinion. Whenever somebody tells me that, like, the point of a game is the breadth at which you can customize something, I really, really start worrying about their core gameplay loop. And, like, what you actually do in the game. Right? So if we, like, observe the combat system of Blasphemous, like, there's attacking right, there's dashing, there's, like, parrying, which is can this parry? This cannot parry. Right? So, like, there's certain ways to defend yourself. I think 2 of the 3 weapons parry. Let's just, like, even lower the scope to just the rapiers. The rapier has 1 attack. It has a parry. And then it has, like, different options, like the sliding thrust, and then, like, it has the, like, aerial slash thing. I think it has something else as well. Right? But the gameplay of, like, the rapier is, like, your goal is to hit them enough or land a parry so that you get a resource, which is the laser stuff, which either you can use to, like, attack a lot of times with your basic attack, and, like, that brings you towards completing the game. Like, the success criteria of using the rapier is, like, following this pattern of getting the lightning to be active, which, like, the parrying mechanic supports very well. And then that either gets used in, like, a super attack, like the jumping twin slash, which I can't do right now. And the parry itself also does a lot of damage. So, like, it's very clear to me how the rapier is supposed to drive gameplay. And it's its own bubble. It's its own thing. Like, the rapier's value isn't based on the fact that there are 3 weapons. You can play the entire game with the rapier. You can't actually do that because of how the platforming works in this game and the puzzle solving. But, like, the minutia of, like, I think that might be the wrong term. But, like, there is a closed loop of how the game is played with a particular option. So when people tell me about breadth and they go, there's going to be 200 options, like, it's not clear how each of those 200 options will, like, move towards successful gameplay. It's just like, there's more of it, so it's good. And I'm like, how do they work together? Why are there 3 party members instead of 4? Or perhaps maybe 2? Right? Yeah. I feel maybe partially passionate about this because I know one of my friends is very... He's like a breadth kind of person where he goes like, yeah, and this game is going to be like, it's going to be a Diablo-style isometric game where, oh, tiny baby. It's going to be a Diablo-style isometric game where there are like 5 classes and you're going to have 5 builds per class. And then I'm like, okay, so let's assume there's a demon hunter. How does the demon hunter work in your game? And it's like, I don't know. And I'm like, where is the, like, where is the like gameplay loop that compels me to play Demon Hunter? Like, what are my options? What are my tuning values? Do I have defensive options? Is every secondary skill I press just a damage button? If that's the case, do we need 4 damage buttons? Like, you know what I mean? And like I mentioned that one because I was literally speaking to this friend earlier, like I think 2 days ago, about this, and then I basically ran through. Okay, so like, it sounds like this isn't the Demon Hunter anymore. I'm trying to find like a good way to explain the example. That's a grown-ass woman. Yeah, you know what? Based on the scale, that makes sense. That's fair. They look like a tiny baby to me on initial glance. But yeah, so what we basically came up with was, it sounded like he wanted a defensive option an offensive off cooldown skill, and then a main attack. Now, the value in having an off cooldown skill is for when the main attack is not very good. So you can think like, or to increase DPS, that's another way of looking at it. But let's say like your main attack is this clunky brother. Delete yourself. I guess that actually, no, that makes sense. I'm technically not a grown-ass woman. I'm a grown-ass man. That's yeah. That's actually true. You know what? It kind of sounded like you were trying to make a dig at my appearances, but you got me. Okay. So we established that he wants a defensive option. We're probably going to have some kind of off cooldown skill. Potentially there is a super gauge that you have by attacking people, which is a positive feedback loop. And then the main skill is like a push ability. So like when you hit people, it pushes them backwards. There's a little bit of context for why it does that, but I'm not going into details. So it pushes people, which means that the puzzles in the game, so the enemies you fight, like have some kind of way of interacting with getting pushed around. So like maybe when you push people, they get turned around as well, which means that people with shields can be dealt with by getting pushed backwards, turned around, and then using your off cooldown skill. So that's like its own chasm of like mechanics that seem to work in some way to make gameplay. So I will flat out say what I was kind of looking for was like, what is the overarching structure that you think players will use to solve the game? You don't actually need to answer that question because like it's fine. It's just like the thing that generally I get curious about or like become excited about because I start thinking like, oh, if that's like the way people are going to be approaching puzzles, etc., or whatever, then I can like think about that. And like there was a little bit of that DNA in like, well, we want them to use special skills that work in combination to do things, and like, sure. Which is why I was saying there's like like what is the formula to having a successful DPS check? Like is it like A plus B multiplied both by C? Is it like A times B times C, etc.? Pushing people around, kind of a hot mechanic, bruh. Oh, did I just kill her? Oh my, what the f... What? What the f... I was expecting that to be a big thing and she just disappeared. Oh my god. Wait, is there a way to play games like this and not just brute force? I think a lot of what you're describing in brute force is actually like a planned combat loop that the designers designed for you. You're just doing it like instinctively, but someone else had to think about it. Gone with the wind that blew out the candle. Yeah, that appears to have been the case. Welcome, Rav. Hello. What? Oh my god, I can double jump over this guy. Let's go. Let's go, brother. So yeah, I hope you don't mind me being hypercritical. But again, I like getting to talk about the things that excite me about games. So I have a bias towards talking about those things as opposed to other things. The best part of getting the double jump is getting to ignore those guys. Yes. I agree that it is nice. But yeah, I hope it wasn't... It didn't seem like I was tearing you too much apart. Okay. Don't know about it. I just smash the button. Like, I smash the waifus, and sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. Most of the time, makes my enemies cry. Understandable. It's all good. Sounds good. Oh, wait, that's so cool. Wait, okay. Is it next? No, it's 2. It's 2 presses. Okay. Bonk. Oh, okay. Bonk. Bonk. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Bonk. Bonk. 1, 2. Haha. Be back in a minute? Okay. Okay. Well, that was 4 guys. 4 big guys. They bust on my eyes. They eat my ass like apple pies. Four small guys. And they bust on my ass. Yeah. Oh, hi, Fused. How's it going? I suppose to you they'd be big guys, brother. Shh. How's it going, Fused? What's going on? What's up with you? Whip. What is this? Why are there... Oh, because this is a fight room. Alright, time to fight. Are they big where it counts? Oh my god. Help. I need help. Why is everyone horny all of a sudden? Well, because I started singing 4 big guys and they bust on my eyes. And they eat my ass like apple pies. The aerial attack does not seem worth using meter on. Well, I think it's worth it when you don't want to... When you don't have to worry about upkeeping the thing. Right. Oh my god. I shouldn't have walked away right then. If they keep fucking like this, I might just die. I mean, yes. Okay, I mean, I think now we're gonna stop. We're just gonna go. I think it's time to stop, etc. Yeah. Like apple pies, are you okay? Those are the lyrics of the song. Listen. Listen. Like I said, I think one of my friends described me in a manner that I felt like resonated with my existence, which is that, like, you know, some percentage of the time my brain is like, I'm going to say something that I feel like is very useful. Oh. Very useful and insightful and makes sense. And people like listening to me. And then I'm just gonna be like, yo, damn, hot anime girls. I like hot anime girls. Please tell me where I can find the hot anime girls. Please. It's just like me, for real, for real. Yeah. So it's like, whenever you speak to Flaris, it is a bit of column A and a bit of column B. Flaris looking for hot anime girls in the area. That is correct. I would like to know the gameplay loop, which brings me to the hot anime girls. Please. Man, I find it really funny that I'm just... Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna... So anyways. Not entering that open door. What open door? Is there an open door? Where? Oh, there's a door at the bottom. There's one. It's called Get Hit by Truckoon, Please No. Then I'll get isekai. I'm good. I'm good with my moderate amount of suffering in my day-to-day. There are people who can help you with that problem. They have a very soft white room. Are you telling me to go to solitary confinement? Did you just deadass say that I'm crazy and need to go to solitary confinement? Just wondering. Asking for a friend. Well, that sucks. Yep. Pain. Been struggling with the finding hot anime girls part, but I'm gonna make it work for sure. Damn true. For real, that's the quest. It's okay. I solved my own problem by fixing the by fixing the anime girl thing by just making a VTuber bottle. Become the anime girl? Smart. I know, right? That was my solution. Pretty good, honestly. Pretty good solution. Okay. Loved all the compelling topics that came out when you first seen Risotto. Oh no. Don't worry about that. I think that me talking about risotto for an hour should not be mentioned ever. Oh, you're talking about the habit of killing every enemy, so playing Metroidvanias have you unlearn that habit. That's fair. That is fair. I understand now. I was able to read the text above the thing to find the context for the thing that they were talking about that I didn't understand. That's crazy. We did it. Let's go. God damn it. Alright, let's go. They seem real interesting to talk to when it comes to game design. Can't believe I just accidentally stumbled onto this hidden gem. Thank you. I appreciate you validating my ego. I wouldn't recommend doing that too often because my ego might grow so large that that I start selling people on crypto coins that I have no intention of paying people back with. A little hidden gem. Shut up. Shut up. That was uncalled for and rude. Alright. Apparently he did so by possessing the body of a character he created, like Shang Tsung, but more creepy. Bro, come on now. I am the character. I played the character for 3 years. I roleplayed as the character for 3 years. The character's just me. Please. Your unwillingness to swap away from the weapon that is worst at killing the small guys is honestly astonishing to me. Well, the problem is my loss aversion to losing the lightning. That's my problem. Is that, unfortunately, the design... Okay, so think about it this way. So, if I get hit, I lose the lightning. But when I have the lightning, I do a lot of damage. So, if I swap the weapon and I lose the lightning, then that means I don't do the damage. You don't do it when you have 0 charge as well. That's correct, but when I'm at 0 charge, I want to get the lightning back. So what's going to get me the lightning back? Staying on the weapon or switching weapons? Right? It's going to be by parrying. I'll get the lightning back. Be careful in the future to never praise anything you do again. I'd really appreciate that. That's good. Because my ego needs to not grow. Everyone keeps the rapiers because they look fucking sick. Yeah. I really like that it goes blap blap. It goes blap blap. It goes blap, 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 blap. Get lightning, get lightning, get lightning. Oh, get lightning. Oh, blap, 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 get lightning. All right, so anyways, he's a tall stack and not remotely flat. Thank you. Yeah, so TLDR, I like going blap, blap. That's like exactly what the thing is. That's what it is. That's why I'm doing it. All right. I'm starting to take the solitary confinement advice more seriously. Oh no. At that point, it's not even loss aversion, it's lack of gain aversion, which can't be healthy. We just need a flame sword. Oh, man. We haven't explored over here yet, so maybe we can do that. Go up, then. The sword isn't fire element, it uses blood. That is true. The mace is fire element. It sacrifices having a parry for just big damage. Don't remember, does this next place also have sad Spanish guitar? Don't remember. Range is honestly the thing that sets the mace apart the most. That's fair. So, like, you don't have to worry about, getting in there. You just turn on the fire and go blam. Go blam, pow. Ah, I think I remember why I couldn't do this place. It might have been double jump locked. No. Yes? Aha! Okay. Fantastic. We have done it. We are now in this place. Oh, I was so close! I was so close. Hold on a second, I need to redo that. You can't? Yeah, no, that seemed like it could have worked. Get in there and then blam blam get dead. Yeah, basically. It seems more like a blam pow, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little different. Alright, I believe. Alright, hold on a second. Anyone playing the new Mortal Kombat game? It's so much fun. Man, they need to stop creating banger fighting games, man. Yeah, that's so weird, because I honestly felt like fighting games were kind of like not really popping. But recently they're like really popping. Nope. Proud Asuka main and Strive. I don't actually know who that is. Oh, speaking of fighting games, Battle Mage got announced for DNF Duel, and that's cute. Battle Mage is very cute. Poggers. I think maybe you can make it if you bounce on the Thorn dude. Ooh, that's another idea. Oh, because I can... Oh, okay. Little too soon. Okay. No. No. Okay. I think I see it. Okay, hold on a second. Wait, this is not the right way. Anything I don't like are motion inputs. That's really funny. We actually had a very in-depth discussion about motion inputs. I also don't like motion inputs. But, you know. I think that would have worked if you waited on the double jump after hitting the bird. Possibly. Let's see if we can do it off the spiky guy. Yeah, I literally can't do motion inputs because my left thumb is busted. So I've just, like, been unable to play fighting games for a very long time because, like, my left thumb doesn't work. Oh, that doesn't work. Like, it doesn't have very fine motor movement. It can hold left or right, but it cannot... Yeah. Cannot do particular things. I'm gonna just assume I can't do this yet. I'm sure it's possible you could do some, like, weird skip-like thing there, but I'm just not gonna do it. Motion controls are fine. When we're talking about motion inputs, we're talking about, like, quarter circles or, like, dragon punches. Yeah. When I was speaking to my yeah, it's okay. When I was speaking to my fighting game friend about this one, because, like, again, we talked about it a lot. Basically, I want you to consider for a second that, like, okay. So, again, like, I frankly don't want to, like, facilitate a discussion on it more because I feel like it's not super productive, or I feel like I've gone very extensively into it, and, like, honestly, it was a little difficult to come to, like, a, is a little difficult to come to like a conclusion with this person, so I'm just gonna say a bunch of the things that came up, or the spark notes, which is that like, okay, so emotion input, let's say like a quarter circle forward, right, is something that a fighting game player had to learn how to do. So if we compare fighting games or the execution of a fighting game to something like a martial art, like there is a progression of mastery of learning a martial art that feels satisfying you when you are at the end of it. So for me, when I'm teaching someone how to do like a roundhouse kick in like BJJ, it's like, it's satisfying to like work through all of those like individual motions of like chambering, like kicking, and then going back to like standing position. And then you like work on that and you tune that over a period of time such that you do it very smoothly and like elegantly. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, which is honestly mostly grappling, but anyways. So the concept of like this like rite of passage of like, I want you to experience what it feels like in order to achieve that mastery, because it's like very like fulfilling at a deep level for the like this is how they described it. You know what I mean? Like this is how my fighting game friend described it, that it's like very like deeply satisfying in order to like master a motion input. Like when you're doing a combo that requires you to do a lot of motion inputs, you like it's like a transcendent experience basically. And like you might say that's fucking stupid. You're playing a fighting game, it's not like transcendental, get off your like pedestal. But like I think it's worth listening to what that person says and how they like experience life, right? So that's where I say that's really cool. I understand that you can feel this like very deep sense of mastery and like artistic like execution of a physical thing in order to like experience this fighting game. Like that's great. Also, my thumb is busted, and the only way I'm going to be able to play a fighting game is to like have a directional input, because I cannot consistently do quarter circles for hours, because like I've played piano for multiple years and like my thumb just doesn't work anymore. Like it's like, do you try to uphold this culture where there's this rite of passage of like feeling the mastery, and like is that something worth preserving from a cultural standpoint? Which, interestingly, is why I think motion inputs should never be removed from a fighting game, but that directional inputs should always be available. Because you can still like feel that mastery, you can still experience that. Motion inputs also have gameplay value, since you can mess it up and drop a combo, which isn't necessarily a positive. The time taken to input the move matters, which is more interesting than did you press a button on frame 1. Yeah, that could be a way of looking at it too. I think that's fair. I wonder if I can make it up there if I like jump cue the thing. I don't know. Okay. Makes the player think about performing the move itself rather than which move they want to use. Can feel rewarding, but they are IMO too frustrating to make it worth. Of course, accessibility. Yeah, which again, like, I think we understand that. You know what I mean? Like the people who have a bias against them. Like I have a bias against motion inputs for obvious reasons. But like, I think the important thing to do in the future where we have like it is the future now, and you can use directional inputs to play a fighting game. That shouldn't be used as evidence to invalidate this like very deep experience that people have with playing fighting games. Like, I don't think that's appropriate. Like, just because we have directional inputs now doesn't mean that, like, the experience that someone had mastering a fighting game 5 years ago, like, is stupid. Because, like, the way this person talked about that was, like, very passionate. Like, they were being legitimate. And I was like... He had to say it, like, 5 or so times until, like, I understood. And I was like, you know what, man? I get it. Not as a way to, like, disarm the argument, but literally I was like, oh, the reason they are this passionate about this thing, you could be, you know, cynical and say there are other reasons. But, like, part of it appears to be because they, like, experience this thing that they want to, like, share with other people. That there's a risk of not sharing it anymore because you don't necessarily need to do motion inputs anymore. All right. What the hell is this? Why are people praying? What's going on? Oh, this is this place. Wait, we were here. Wait, we were literally here. This was the place we were in.
Be pleased to receive this gift. That a candid voice
candid voice? Yeah, candid my nuts fit in your mouth. Got him. Got him. Okay. To add, not only can you mess a combo, but certain moves are balanced by it, like grapplers tend to have. Yeah, which are hard. Yeah, that's fair. that is another way of looking at it.
O heart, what doth thou seeketh from us?
Sorry, so what is this key for? Why do I have this key now? Wait, what am I doing? Wait, what's going... Wait, what? Okay. I'm here once again. Hello. Can you give me another power?
Shows us mercy and bestows upon this shadow the right to speak. Never will I comprehend for what exalted reasons I was chosen to witness and narrate the events by which the miracle sought to return to us. For many eons have passed since it abandoned us. Oh, I see my request was granted, and that blessed pilgrim delivered my offering to you. Cast open the cages whose keys were stolen. Dove, who borrows thine color from the raven, escape your gilded prison.
Okay, so we got 1 out of 5 birds. Oh, what is this? Spirit PP, what is happening? Why? Why is it sinking? Okay, I just need to find more things. Okay then. Well, I seem to have found an interesting place. How often do you stream? I try to stream 4 times a week. But, I've been sick, and I've been very busy. So... Oh, wow, that killed me immediately. So I haven't really had... I've been on a weird schedule and not really doing stuff. Yeah, my schedule is posted to the community tab every week. Yeah, so, I mean, I kind of wonder, though, right, if we do want to elaborate on this, and, you know, like I said, I kind of don't. But, like, let's say, for example, that, like, you know, what options are reasonable in what scenario based on the physicality of the input? Oh no. Oh. Okay. Like, are there other ways to represent that in gameplay that are not purely based on the method of the input? Which, I feel like there are ways to do that. It's just slightly different than, you know, the way that it was before. So, for example, it may be difficult to input a particular type of thing in block string, because as soon as you stop blocking, like if you have an X frame window to like complete a particular thing, then it simply will not work. Which my initial instinct would be this should be affected on the frame data axis, not on the physical input axis. Which then maybe like preserving the people who can input a particular thing very fast, like gets lost. But if we're saying that the point of having it be a long input is to make it not viable in a particular scenario, then like maybe that can just be communicated to the player instead of like the input's really long, so get made on. It's the area where I started occasionally dying to things that weren't bosses. Fair. Of course. Two big guys. Alright, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. I think we're gonna come back to this one. Yeah. I think we're gonna come back to that one. Yeah, so I think what you're kind of mentioning here is like, you know, like a flow state where you think of what to do instead of like what the input is, which like I'm a little bit curious what your interpretations are on like, or what your understanding is on being able to do those things. Like, for example, after I got pretty okay at doing a quarter circle, I didn't think about doing a quarter circle, I just did the input. So that still technically qualifies under what you're saying. Sorry to remove the barrier between player and character by simplifying inputs, but I don't like calling not doing so wrong. Well, again, wrong... So we've talked about logic many times before. Wrong needs to have a premise for why it is wrong, right? And we're using like a pretty standard like game design UX lens, which is that like more people being able to play the game is better. Like very oftentimes like like very precise types of inputs are not desired in like a modern UX context. So like it is wrong if you use that logic. That's the problem. But like it's not necessarily useful to say that it is wrong. You're just using a logic where you're correct. You can change the logic to be correct if you want. It's just like not useful, right? Like, right and wrong is wrong, I guess is what I'm saying. There's like a degree of usefulness to right and wrong, and I think it is significantly more limited than people give it credit. So yeah, that's kind of why I said, like, you know, what are the... If you wanted to get, like, super into it and start thinking about, like, okay, what are the reasons for having, like, a particular thing? Where one of the things that you described was that, like, part of the reason to have, like, an execution barrier to an input is so that, like, there are scenarios during the gameplay where it is, like, invalid to do a particular thing. Where, like, I kind of say, like, as a designer, you want to be able to look for, excuse me, other ways to, like, simulate that gameplay without the, or you would say as, like, a UX designer specifically, that there are, like, ways to simulate that style or method without, like without the barrier, without the player barrier, which again is a UX lens. I thought that would go down. I'll buy our workout routine for the sake of health. Health, yeah. See, I feel like this is like, I feel like Cesar got the point and, like, is memeing about it, but yes, if you tell yourself, I'm going to buy this workout video, and then the logic to buying the workout video is that you're going to work out, but clearly that is not why you're buying it, then perhaps you are buying it for the wrong reason of what might be the standard application of a workout video. This is correct. Okay. Thing is fighting games right now are balanced by the inputs. You can change that. By doing so, you have to change lots of things fundamentally. A lot of fighting games are based on old beloved franchises, so they have to be very careful of changing too much to cause they don't want to make loyal fan bases unhappy. Right, so again, I'm going to like throw this back at you, which is, what is the underlying of the underlying assumption for the logic that old fans need to be happy in a fighting game? Like, this is pretty, like, devil's advocate territory, in my opinion, like, by me saying this, but, like, let's just think for a second why, like, you even care about, like, an old player to a game. Like, does it matter to me if, like, let's say, for example, there are, like, you know, we can use the classic, like, quantity kind of argument of, like, okay, so, like, let's say for every one person who can't play doesn't want to play the game anymore because they changed how inputs work, we lose one of you. However, because I simplified the inputs, I gained 10 players. Therefore, if all of the players are equal, then it doesn't matter to me that you're upset. So, like, why does it matter? I make more money by not appealing to your random requests of whether I put motion inputs or don't put motion inputs. Like, why does it matter? to play full devil's advocate, I actually don't even want to appeal to you because you don't buy the game. You're not going to buy it. Why do I care? And also I throw back at you, what's wrong with trying to make project for a certain fan base? Yeah, and I'm saying, like, your opinion doesn't matter because, like, you're one person and, like, we're working with quantities of, like, millions. And I make more millions when I add a particular thing. And, like, I make less millions the longer I don't include motion inputs. So, you know. Motion inputs like Xbox Connect? Well, no. Like in fighting games. Because this discussion's been going on for a while. Yeah, I think certainly having a reputation is probably, like, valuable. But the other thing about reputation is that, like, people have, like, a give-a-shit meter. So, like, the people who are gonna give a shit for a period of time and then stop caring because they can't be bothered, like, is like a low risk in comparison to making more sales. Why are there 3 of these guys? Did there have to be 3 of them? Oh. Oh no. I kind of figured it out and then I fucked it up. Just parry the fire? I don't think I can, unfortunately. But yeah. So enough of playing devil's advocate. I think one of the reasons is because the devs actually care. Right? And here's the problem, and which is why I felt like my discussion with this fighting game player was very instrumental in my understanding of, like, of this concept, which is that, like, there is a particular part of the experience that people who have not done it do not seem to understand, and the people who have done it seem to understand. Where, like, some people cannot experience it for whatever given reason. I am in that category. And sorry, my brain has a point here, I swear. So, like, a developer of a fighting game legitimately has to consider, like, okay, well, I know that there's this very, like, esoteric, ethereal part of the experience. How much do I want to, like, invalidate that part of the experience by, like, making this feature change? And additionally, if one of the main arguments is, like, how much input time do you have to do a particular move for whether it's valid or not, is, like, you know, like, there are other game design solutions to that problem, as I was mentioning. And I'm sure there's even more than what I mentioned, because I am not the arbiter of having every single solution all the time. Ugh. I didn't know what by dying multiple times and picking up multiple guild fragments you can unbug the game draining your fervor. I'm confused. Yeah, and like, you know, if you want to, again, we're just going to keep applying different lenses, right? Different methods for assuming why the logic is correct. If you want to assume that, like, there are different values that people will have who are making a game, and that those things will reflect in how stuff gets made, because games are, you know, games could be argued to be a piece of art. So the larger head style in anime isn't right or wrong, it's simply just a thing that you can do or not do. And I'm telling you that when anime girls make this face, and then look into my soul and tell me how much of a baka I am, I feel a very transcendental experience that I want other people to understand. So in my production of the thing, I will include it so that other people can resonate with that experience. Doesn't mean I have to. And it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just a thing. Good point. It's a very cute face. Yeah, whereas there are people who do not value that as much for different logical reasons. Because apparently every art style should be semi-realistic 3D renders, and also that the entirety of games is to have some sense of reality, which I also disagree with. So. Oh my god. I feel like maybe I shouldn't be going after the floaty guys. Oh my god. Okay. At the start of the stream, you had 25% fervor due to the game bugging and not giving it back when you picked up your guilt, but then you died with a fully erased fervor bar and picked up 2 guilt fragments. You went back to 50%. I see. I understand. I was actually considering whether or not that was like a valuable thing to do, like if you die a lot of times. Yeah. Realism almost never makes a game better. We play games to escape. I don't know if I agree with the second half of that, but yes, again, we're going to apply the lens here that realism is not always good at making compelling game mechanics. Platformers would almost not exist if you couldn't change your aerial velocity, for example. Oftentimes what people are looking for is some sense of verisimilitude, which is internal consistency in the world so that I can suspend my disbelief. Now, unfortunately, that means that for some people, the entire burden of verisimilitude and suspension of disbelief is on the game, which I also disagree with philosophically, because you are in control of how much you want to suspend your disbelief, not the game. But it's like a 50-50 relationship, you know? Not actually 50-50, but... yeah, exactly. As Poi says, realism is a design decision, not necessarily a positive or a negative. You could make a very compelling game that is extremely realistic and, like, systems-driven and representative of, like, the world, for example. But, like, I want to have a double jump. And I'm willing to say that this person is capable of making a double jump because they got some superpower. And I'm gonna, like, move on with my life. Because I like having a double jump. I don't think people... Now, hear me out. The Celeste dash, not very realistic. I wonder if we can finish this arena fight or not. You know, like hardcore realistic games where you can get disease and lose a limb and have to take a piss. Some people can just do that. Oh, like do a Celeste dash? Yeah, you're right. I've seen them. They're on the Tic Tacs. I see them all over the Tic Tac. Do the Celeste dash, Tic Tac. Gonna suspend my disbelief. Believe you can do this arena fight. Come on, man. No. I am in pain. Yeah, I know this guy attacks twice, but I was trying to heal. Please. Oh, they punish you for parrying. That's so sad. Well, I mean, this is just going great, isn't it? Ugh. Everyone has different levels of being able to suspend their disbelief. Yeah. I mean, as someone who has in the past been hypercritical, I think that in my opinion, based on my life experience, being hypercritical and analytic and not suspending my disbelief and being upset with everything made me kind of miserable. I'm gonna make a value judgment on that one and say that it's not actually very useful. Also because, like, your feelings bias your analysis. So, like, if other people can suspend their disbelief, but you can't suspend your disbelief, and then you're like, meh, these are all the reasons I can't suspend my disbelief, is like, well, is that because you're angry about the thing that you're suspending the disbelief, so you're looking for a reason to not have the thing, and then... Like, I could find a million reasons to not suspend my disbelief in this current moment, and or say that the game designers are shit because this encounter is too hard and I'm getting mad. But is that really accurate? God damn it. Or am I looking for a reason to do that? There's no EXP in this game, I don't think. There's the Marks of Martyrdom. I might need to, like, get a weapon upgrade or something. Wouldn't be as hard if you used the weapons that are suited for this fight. You know, you're probably right. God damn it. I'm allowed to unsub, just wondering. Wait, what? Now, if there's anything that I know, it's that unsubbing is objectively wrong. I'm just telling you now that unsubbing is objectively wrong and not based on my attachment issues. Hypercritical is about, like, people, some just can't engage things like fantasy and prefer more realistic stories. You can't unsub. I heard you sold your soul already. That is correct. Vena is correct. You aren't allowed to unsub. Yeah. Oh, phone running out of battery. I was never given the contract beforehand. Big scam over here. Yeah, wait until you get to Flower Coin. As Fused said earlier. Flower Coin's gonna be the best thing ever. Make sure you buy your Flower Coin today. Oh. Alright. So mace for the flying guys and the sling guys, and sword rapiers for the candle guy and the fire spitting guy. Yeah, see, I believe you. Sling with that. My mom, for instance, takes everything very literally, so she legit gets frightened by cartoonish amounts of violence. She can take murder mysteries, but if it's a Marvel movie, despite how silly it is, she feels every hit. Right. So I'd be curious to understand what, like, experiences make that the case. Like, we're assuming that that's just, like, a static fact that can never be changed, you know what I mean? Which I think Poi has been on record to mention that some of these things are very static and simply cannot be changed. I know for me, for example, in certain first-person games that, like, I just get motion sick. So again, that is, like, what degree are we willing to accept that things just are unchangeable? You prefer Safe Moon coin? It's right there. Nothing will happen. Trust me. Oh my goodness. Hey, we finally did it. That was very easy. I can't because I don't see Von Milkia very often. Ah, you know what? You're right. The problem is oh, what the f... Come on. The problem is that Von Milkia is not here. Crack streamer? Clearly. Ah, amazing. Amazing. Great. Fantastic. Mace is so good for the sling guys because you can very easily stay out of their range, at which point they can't do anything. That's fair. There's just one of those fire guys on each screen. I don't think it's on every screen. There's certainly a lot of them in this area. Oh my god. Because she didn't watch a bunch of movies like that growing up, so she's not desensitized to it like us. That could be a reason, maybe. I wonder if it might also be because, like, she looks at this thing and it's like, you know, it's not even a matter of desensitized. It's just like, I'm not used to looking at this thing. So therefore, because I'm not used to looking at this thing, I'm going to find it difficult to look at. But then the question becomes like, okay, well, how do you become used to looking at the thing? How do you know, let's assume for a second that I want to enjoy the thing. Like, how do you begin the process of going like, okay, just because I haven't seen these things before, how am I going to move forward in my life to, like, start doing this thing so that I can enjoy it? Like, I don't think it's static, basically. But I also think certain things are, like, more effort than they're worth. And that's, like, to each person's whatever. It's not about choosing, it's that they feel. You don't choose your feelings? Or, like, you don't choose how you react to your feelings? Because I'm gonna be real with you. If I was vehemently angry every time chat said something stupid, we wouldn't be here today. Okay, do I reset my guilt meter? I think that's the only thing I'm going to be using this stuff. Why not? We never say stupid stuff. You know what? You're right. We're all suave and refined intellectuals here. Yeah. I'm saying that there is a mechanism, basically, of, like, when you react to stimuli, that there's a mechanism of something that you control in how you react to and process your emotions. So if watching, like, a cartoonishly violent thing means you're going to feel the pain of each of those hits, then, like, I think it's completely reasonable to be like, hey, I don't think this is an experience for me. I'm just going to not engage with it. And that's, like, totally valid. But it's more a matter of, like, how do you take that experience and, like, you know, live with it? It's not just live with it. That's the thing. Because I think people mistake this for, like, just become jaded and don't feel anything. And it's like, I don't necessarily agree with that either. I'm just saying that if I followed the voice that said, like, don't do anything ever, like, I feel on a daily basis that I'm a failure who should not be doing anything because nothing I ever do will be good enough. And that I don't deserve to live on this planet. I feel that almost on a daily basis. The question is, what am I going to do with my life if I just don't do anything? Because I don't deserve to live on this planet. Because I'm not good enough. Not this one.
With this crystal, I mark and imbue thy flasks with silver and bile.
Oh! They got thicker!
Only the miracle shall know how many crystals have been bathed in its grace. Now I shall grant thee a new flask. Bring me more. Only
Okay, I don't have any other ones, right? I wanted to look at the different, like, things you can put in the stuff. Okay, yeah. So you can recognize, but you will still will feel. For example, you said you don't like horror or feeling scared. Well, then why don't you just tell yourself it's fake? Well, because I will feel scared and feel horror, right? It's not about not being scared. I'm just gonna be scared when I watch horror. You know what I mean? So it's like, am I gonna be able to deal with that I'm scared? Like, I'm not trying to logic my way out of not feeling scared. Like, I'm gonna feel scared. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think I was placing a value judgment. Right? I was sharing my perspective on consuming media. I'm unable to not logic my way out of feeling scared. Well, I feel sorry for you, Poi. That must be a very difficult internal state to live with. Yeah, it's like not about overcoming feelings. I don't know. Is what I'm saying. Like, I will play a horror game and shit my pants. If that's what I want to do. I just want to do it knowing that I'm going into it shitting my pants and not because I feel like I'm trying to avoid something. Because I feel like there's a lot to gain from, like, playing a horror game. There's a lot that it can add to my life. So I wanted to play, like, one of the Resident Evils, one of the modern ones. And like I said, there's, like, the more practical lens of, like, your mother is a grown adult with their own sets of opinions, etc. Like, they don't need to do any particular thing for any reason that I say. I was just kind of questioning the inner monologue, I guess, of if emotions control you. And I think emotions actually control you the most when you try to logic your way out of them. Has been my experience. Which is again why I said my life of being super hypercritical was when I was the most miserable. Because if somebody did something that I felt like I disagreed with, I would just like logic them into the ground. And I was actually pretty good at doing it. Like, some people joke about that shit, and then they say that, like, there's some kind of, like, Giga Chad, debate me, bro. I was like that, except people actually listened to me. But also all of the people around me, like I hurt the feelings of the people around me by doing that. So I eventually decided maybe I need to accept that, like, I'm an idiot sometimes, and that I don't need to argue my friends into the ground. As you can see here, where I'm arguing my friends into the ground.
Much time as you must know that I am a blind man.
But, like, I think I'm doing it from a perspective of just, like, again, trying to share my perspective. I'm not... That's why I said, like, I'm not actually placing a value judgment because I think that they're allowed to do what they feel is right. But my perspective on the thing is that I don't want all of my decisions to be based on my emotions. My emotions can be there. They're pretty good indicators.
At the very moment we witnessed the most wondrous act we were,
like, for example, like,
in our humble lives.
Sharing that, like, that I feel like a failure makes me, like, feel vulnerable and anxious. Right? So it's like, it's there. It doesn't mean that, like, just because I feel anxiety doesn't mean that I shouldn't share it.
All who were there were blinded by a light, a fleeting flash that compelled us all to avert our gaze, thus casting us into...
I don't feel like a failure. I know I'm a failure. Like I said, man, that's tough. It's difficult. See, the thing that, like, I feel like is particularly fucked up, because I've thought about this before, which is that, like, I feel like a failure pretty often, but I know that there are people who are less competent than me. So, like, I don't even know what it's like for people who are actually failures, and then, like, don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, where they have no skill at all and, like, can't function, and then also feel the same way that I feel. That seems like a tough place to be in. I don't even think I'm that, like, successful at the things I do. I'm, like, mid-success.
Beautiful in both form and proportion of Our Lady. Never could I forget it, for I was branded by that fire that burns perpetually within mine own eyes.
Is this new dialogue? Yeah. That's what makes us different. I have convictions. What is a conviction in this case? Because I don't know. We're your friends. That's pretty parasocial of you. Yeah, that's very, very parasocial.
Know that you have my gratitude, penitent one.
Convictions about being a failure. What is the definition of a conviction? A formal declaration. Okay, I see. Got it. It's one of those things where it's like I need to, like, think about it for a second. I don't think it's good to let emotion stop you from doing something you enjoy. However, my point is that if it's illogical, you still feel it. Well, that's why I was saying, like, logic isn't useful in this case. Just in general. Like, it's not the tool you bring to feeling scared. You don't bring logic to the fight against the emotion demon, because it'll win every time. And you'll think you've won, because logic is tricky like that. But you giga lost. This one.
The altarpiece on your back now has more capacity. Here, I will wait for you until you gather more.
This is also intellectual. I get completely lost if I stop paying attention for half a minute. Keep up the good work. I don't think I'm very intellectual. I mean, I don't know. I think I have opinions that have made my life better than being cripplingly depressed. Stun power your attacks. What does that mean? Gonna create a crypto coin. Damn straight. So what is this? Oh, can I benefit from this twice, by the way? How do I do this again? Do I check it here? Resonances. Can I do this twice? Might be using the wrong word, TBH. Yeah, I'm not sure. Attacking builds an invisible stun bar that leads to making executions possible. I see. Understandable. I don't think I will be using that. Yeah, what I thought it might have meant was that... Yeah, I'm just curious what this gives me, first of all. What I thought it might have meant was that it's the, like, hit stun for when you hit something. I thought that was the thing. Veredicto. Okay. Oh, I see. What I wanted this to be, or what I wanted to try to do, was can I benefit from this twice? Look, it looks like it's active twice. Yeah. When you question you for ask for clarification and don't act of author. I don't. I benefit 40. You can benefit twice. Okay, cool. Very good. Okay, I think we achieved not much today. I kind of want to keep going, but I know that I have other things to do today. Which, for the record, I wanted to talk about this at the start of stream. Yeah, sorry that I don't actually know if I understand what you said, Rance. But what I was gonna say was there is I got commissioned for a new model. I'm excited. Someone asked to get a shoulder up done for them. And they appear to be a relatively small streamer who like just hit Twitch affiliate or something, and I'm like, yes, this is exactly why I have this tier. It's for the people who are like, I just kind of got into this thing and I'm like experiencing moderate success or whatever, and I just want like a face for my brand and or face cam or whatever. And I'm like, yes. I was very happy about it that someone seemed to be ordering the like, I made this product for you in this category and you are now ordering it, which is poggers. Was just saying you don't seem to be like the person you said you were before. Yeah, I think I still have argumentative tendencies, as you can clearly see by this stream. But I try my best to not do it with the purpose of, like, being disparaging to the person I'm talking to. Because it's a lot easier to, like, set up logical traps for people and also, like, see what kinds of logical fallacies that people will fall for if you, like, poke around. And that's kind of fucked up if you think about it. Like, that's just, like, not a very good way to treat people, I don't think. Is, like, fishing for their insecurities so that you can, like, pull a logical fallacy on them that'll, like, make them erupt and lose an argument. It's just, like, not very cool. You know what I mean? Not to say that I was, like, the super expert on doing that, but the fact that it was in my repertoire of... Oh, maybe you could do that. Just, like, fuck them up a little bit. Just make them a little angry, so that they become incoherent. Productive conversation for real. Yeah. Honestly, kind of cringe. When the goal of your... Yeah, that's why I usually use the term discussion instead of argument, because I feel like argument, like, it is more difficult to work through, like, the biases against the word argument when you say argument, so I say discussion. Which is, like, a completely reasonable thing to do. You could say that I am avoiding the distress required when I say the word argument, but also, again, there's, like, completely reasonable and logical reasons why people do things, which is okay. Yeah. Alright. So, I think we're gonna call it. Because I want to work on that person's model and not leave them hanging. I know we didn't really do a whole lot today, because we spent 2 hours basically just chatting. But, I think that's gonna be it. Tomorrow is a variable stream. We might start Outer Wilds. We might, you know, just say fight. Don't be a pussy. Yeah, I'm gonna fight people. I'm gonna literally fight them. Gonna go bam. Fight them. Just chatting is how interesting streams go. Yes. I'm gonna apply the lens of not A or not B in this case. Don't be afraid to take the day off if your voice gets worse again. Yeah, I'll monitor it because, again, I can't seem to access the upper registers of my voice currently. Or I feel like the resonance in my voice is currently lower than it normally is. So we'll figure it out. We'll play it by ear. I'll make sure to make a post if I'm, like, actively not feeling well or don't want to put a stream up. So if you don't see that post, then that probably means we're gonna play a video game or something. Okay, so yeah, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your support as always, and I'll see y'all next time. Next time. Oi, come on. Come on. I'm trying to sign off. Why are you bonking me? Stop it. Stop. 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 Just fight people instead of arguing. Alright, okay. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.